Silently spinning golden threads for over 5,000 years of rich history, the silkworm is not only the crystallization of the precious heritage of Eastern culture, but also serves as a vital link in weaving the vast and thriving multi-billion-dollar luxury silk industry. But do you know how billions of silkworms are raised, harvested, and transformed into some of the finest fabrics in the world? That journey begins at specialized farms, where silkworms are carefully tended and fed fresh mulberry leaves under tightly controlled temperature and humidity conditions. From there, they are taken to large-scale silk processing factories, where the cocoons are sorted, treated, and delicately reeled into shimmering threads, transforming into luxurious silk fabrics that are worth more than gold. Right now, join Agriculture Insight as we explore the fascinating world of silkworm farming and the intricate, alluring silk production industry. Everything will be revealed in this video. Modern silkworm farming and silk production today represent a true revolution, far beyond the traditional, manual methods that existed for thousands of years. This dramatic transformation has paved the way for silkworms to be raised and processed industrially on a large scale across many countries, especially China, which dominates 70% of global raw silk production, amounting to nearly 60,000 tons per year. Though its appearance might be frightening to some, the silkworm creates something more precious than gold. With farms that can span tens of thousands of square meters, and they continue to expand in scale. So what is it that has kept silk so irresistibly captivating for millennia? Silk threads spun by the most common silkworm species, Bombyx mori, light as breath yet stronger than steel by weight, are the crystallization of an exceptionally intricate natural protein structure, made of a strong fibroin core tightly bound by a protective sericin layer. This dual protein architecture gives silk its unmatched combination of strength, softness, and natural sheen, a marvel that humans have yet to replicate artificially. As a timeless symbol of elegance, skillfully connecting Eastern and Western cultures, mulberry silk carries profound historical and artistic value and is celebrated today in haute couture collections worth hundreds of thousands of dollars from luxury fashion houses such as Hermès, Dior, Valentino, and Elie Saab. And the journey of the world's most luxurious silk begins with the simplest of things, silkworm eggs, more delicate than specks of dust. If not killed for silk reeling, then after about 9 to 10 days inside specially selected cocoons, the pupae will emerge as adult moths and be ready to reproduce within just 2 to 4 hours. Importantly, silkworms are extremely sensitive, so this process must take place in individual trays or mesh enclosures, under soft lighting and in a quiet environment to ensure optimal results. Over thousands of years of domestication, the moth has lost its ability to fly due to its shrunken wings, weak chest muscles, and overly heavy body. That is how we have designed the silkworm to produce silk for its entire life. Over the next 24 to 48 hours, each female moth can continuously lay between 300 and 500 eggs. These tiny eggs gradually change color from pale yellow to gray, a clear sign of successful fertilization. After being carefully collected and cold stored, only the highest quality eggs are transferred to incubation chambers, where ideal conditions of 24-25 degrees Celsius and 80 to 85% humidity are maintained to trigger hatching. Then, following a patient wait of around 10 days, tiny silkworm larvae begin to emerge, marking the start of a life journey that is both fragile and extraordinary. In the early stage rearing phase, newly hatched silkworms are transferred into flat trays at a density of approximately 1,500 to 2,000 larvae per square meter, where they are carefully incubated for 4 to 5 days to help them adapt to their new environment. At this stage, the tiny creatures are fed nutrient-rich mulberry leaf cakes using automated spreaders. They feed continuously, day and night, growing rapidly with each passing day, much like popcorn kernels bursting in a hot pan. To keep pace with this explosive development, they undergo 2 molting cycles, a vital process that allows their skin to shed and stretch, making room for swift growth before entering the main rearing stage. As they complete these crucial early stages, the silkworms are then ready to move into the main rearing phase, where their growth accelerates and their care intensifies. To prepare for the maturation phase, the silkworm's diet changes significantly. Every early morning, farmers head to the mulberry gardens to harvest fresh leaves, especially those from the middle to lower parts of the branches, where the nutrient levels are best suited for growing silkworms. An interesting fact, silkworms do not drink water throughout their entire life cycle. That's why ensuring the leaves are completely dry before feeding is an essential step in professional silkworm farming. If the leaves are still wet with dew or moisture, they can cause bloating, disease, or even mass mortality among the silkworms. Now, feeding the silkworms becomes a race against time, as the appetite of billions surges dramatically. In the most modern farms, they are raised on floors spanning tens of thousands of square meters, providing spacious environments for optimal growth. Instead of finely chopped tender leaves, silkworms now require larger, more mature mulberry leaves to satisfy their increasing hunger. They are fed fresh leaves 5 to 6 times a day, carefully spread out to ensure even distribution, not only to promote efficient feeding, but also to reduce stress and overcrowding, which could lead to suffocation. An indispensable factor during this period is the application of lime to sterilize the environment by killing harmful bacteria and fungi, reducing the risk of disease, while also helping to maintain a balanced pH level. During this final feeding period, which lasts around 10 to 12 days, the silkworms undergo 2 additional molts to keep up with their rapid growth. At this stage, feeding is no longer a simple task. It becomes a delicate symphony between nature and precision, all in preparation for the next phase, spinning their precious golden cocoons. When silkworms show signs of a translucent abdomen and reduced appetite, farmers, relying on their experience, gradually lower the hanging frame system made of straw, bamboo, or plastic closer to the ground. From there, among billions of tiny compartments, these gentle creatures instinctively find their favorite spots to settle and spin their cocoons. Thanks to a sophisticated silk gland system, much like that of spiders, the silkworm spins by rhythmically moving its head in a figure-8 pattern, producing thousands of loops of filament that can stretch over 1,000 meters. Within just 2 to 3 days, it forms a cocoon, both a safe haven and a precious treasure for the silk industry. So what truly happens inside this mysterious cocoon? Over the next 7 to 10 days after completing its cocoon, the silkworm lies still and silently transforms into a pupa, a crucial metamorphosis preparing it for the next stage in its extraordinary life cycle. While waiting for Bombyx mori silkworms to spin their cocoons, there's another remarkable species you may have never heard of, the tussa silkworm. Renowned for its wild silk threads that are 2 to 3 times stronger than those of its domesticated cousin. Moths harvested from the previous season are stored in hundreds of separate cages, ensuring stable environmental conditions to maintain their health and reproductive ability. They are then evenly released onto hanging racks inside the rearing cages, where they have space to fly freely and mate naturally. After about 3 to 5 days, An important technique involves farmers gently shaking the racks with sticks to dislodge pollen, stimulating more effective mating and increasing egg fertilization rates. Unlike cultivated silkworms that feed exclusively on mulberry leaves, tussa silkworm eggs hatch into larvae that are raised to maturity on oak, elm, or wild apple leaves. A defining difference is that tussa silkworms are usually allowed to complete their life cycle and emerge as moths, ensuring genetic diversity and supporting long-term sustainability rather than prioritizing silk yield alone. Thanks to its rich texture, natural golden hue, and ethical appeal, premium wild tussa silk is typically reserved for luxury fashion or bespoke works of art, with some final creations commanding prices in the millions. After days of hard work and patient waiting, it's finally time for farmers to reap the rewards of their labor. In the past, silkworm cocoons were harvested entirely by hand. Farmers would skillfully pluck each cocoon from the bamboo frames using their fingers. While this manual method was simple and low cost, it was extremely time-consuming when dealing with tens of thousands of cocoons in a single batch. That's why, with the rise of industrial-scale sericulture, the demand for higher efficiency and reduced labor led to the development of mechanical aids. Today, semi-automatic hand-operated machines and fully automated cocoon harvesters are widely used, increasing harvesting speed by 5 to 10 times compared to manual methods, minimizing loss, and ensuring uniform cocoon quality. This marks a crucial transformation that helps modernize the silk industry and expand its reach to global markets. And from here, the fate of each cocoon and the silkworm pupa inside takes one of two paths. A fortunate few will continue their life cycle, emerging as moths to produce eggs for the next season. The rest are sent to the factory, where their golden threads are transformed into luxurious silk. When thousands of tons of cocoons arrive at the factory, the transformation into silk begins with the sorting stage. Skilled workers carefully examine each cocoon, selecting them based on criteria such as size, weight, uniformity, and shell thickness. Only the highest quality cocoons are chosen for premium silk production, ensuring the final product meets the finest standards of texture and craftsmanship. Next comes a critical step to prevent the silkworm from developing into a moth and breaking the cocoon. This is done by exposing the live cocoons to high temperatures through methods such as steam treatment, hot air drying, or immersion in hot water. This process not only halts metamorphosis, but also sterilizes the cocoons and preserves the unbroken structure of the silk filaments, ensuring longer shelf life and superior thread quality. But that alone isn't enough to soften the sericin, the natural protein that acts as glue, binding the silk fibers together. So after the pupae are removed, the cocoons are gently warmed in hot water at around 60 to 90 degrees Celsius. Now, the heart of the entire process begins to beat, as the softened cocoons enter the mesmerizing silk reeling stage. If you look closely, you'll notice the rotating brushes gently swirling in hot water, not only to loosen the outer sericin layer, but also to skillfully locate the silk filament's end, finer than a strand of hair. As soon as the brushes uncover and separate this delicate tip from the cocoon, a sharp-eyed worker quickly identifies it and carefully guides it into the reeling machine. From there, shimmering strands flow like a silver stream, each formed by combining threads from 5 to 10 cocoons and wound evenly onto spools. Though a single cocoon can yield up to 1,000 meters of silk, it takes between 2,500 to 3,000 cocoons to produce just half a kilogram of raw silk, the precious material behind the world's finest silks. Once the raw silk threads are drawn, they move on to the twisting stage, where multiple fine filaments are gently spun together to enhance their strength, consistency, and suitability for weaving. This is also the moment when skilled artisans can blend different silk types to create unique textures, desired thicknesses, or subtle variations in color and sheen. Interestingly, the twisting density of silk is entirely different from that of wool or alpaca fiber. Animal fibers, being shorter and more fragile, require a tighter twist to ensure durability. In contrast, silk filaments are naturally long, smooth, and lustrous, needing only a gentle twist to preserve their signature drape, softness, and shimmer. This delicate balance gives each silk thread a soul of its own, shaping not only the texture, but also the emotion and elegance of the fabric it will soon become. However, to truly reach their full potential, the freshly spun silk threads must undergo a special transformation, the degumming process. This is done by soaking the twisted threads in warm water mixed with a mild, alkaline solution. As the saracen slowly dissolves, what remains is the pure essence of silk, lighter, softer, and unbelievably smooth. In that very moment, the thread awakens, no longer raw fiber, but a living material ready to become something magical. Before being placed on the loom, premium silk threads undergo a special step, yarn dyeing, a moment when artisans breathe soul into each living strand of silk. Each bundle of silk is soaked in a dye bath for 4 to 6 hours, where natural colorants, extracted from indigo leaves, pomegranate rinds, rosewood, or sappanwood roots, seep deep into the fibers. This traditional yarn dyeing technique forms the foundation for intricate woven patterns, such as ikat or brocade. Meanwhile, for solid-colored silks or hand-painted fabrics, the entire cloth is dyed after weaving, creating flowing layers of color that blend harmoniously, soft and fluid like water. After the dyeing process, the premium silk threads are ready to enter their final stage, weaving. Depending on the intended use and local traditions, the silk may be woven on traditional handlooms or modern industrial machines. Regardless of the method, this is the moment when thousands of threads move rhythmically, crisscrossing, undulating, flowing with softness yet precision, to form smooth, lustrous sheets of silk. Each woven fabric is no longer just a material. It is a living artwork, ready to become garments, art pieces, or one-of-a-kind handcrafted masterpieces. China, the undisputed leader in global quail farming, not only operates massive industrial-scale facilities, but also produces over 60% of the world's quail eggs each year, equivalent to around 100 billion eggs. Meanwhile, Japan is the birthplace of the globally renowned Japanese quail, a breed that was selectively developed in the early 20th century. In the wild, quails are vulnerable to predators like hawks, owls, foxes, and snakes, and are often hunted by humans. So it's no surprise that over 95% of them are now raised on industrial farms to meet rising demand. Compared to chicken eggs, quail eggs may be 5 times smaller, but they pack a far greater nutritional punch, containing 2 to 4 times more vitamin B12, iron, and phosphorus by weight, making them a true tiny superfood. Behind this tiny bird lies an industrial empire few have ever seen. But how did quail go from hiding in the wild to fueling high-tech farms and feeding millions every day? Everything begins with the collection of tiny quail eggs, which are brought to the hatchery. Interestingly, due to generations of domestication, mother quails have lost their natural instinct to incubate eggs, so all eggs must be placed in industrial incubators for hatching. These racks are then placed into automated incubators, where the temperature is kept stable at around 99 degrees Fahrenheit, ideal for embryo development. Because each incubation cycle can involve tens of thousands of eggs, modern ventilation systems and humidity sensors play a crucial role in maintaining even airflow, preventing overheating or shell dehydration. Every few hours, the machine gently rotates the eggs to prevent the embryos from sticking to the shells. The process is monitored in real time to optimize hatch rates, which can reach 85 to 90% in well-maintained incubators. If there were a race to see who hatches first, baby quails would reach the finish line before baby chicks even got started, taking just 14 to 17 days to hatch, while chicken eggs need a full 21 days. At this point, workers transfer them to special hatching trays for the final stage. Inside the hatching chamber, the eggs remain for another 3 days. During this time, the eggs begin to twitch slightly before cracking open, revealing tiny, pale yellow chicks, no bigger than a thumb, still wet, with closed eyes and covered in soft, downy feathers. Right after hatching, trays filled with newborn quail chicks are removed from the hatching chamber to begin the sorting process. Skilled workers gently pick up each chick by hand, carefully removing any remaining eggshells to ensure hygiene and safety for these fragile newborns. Thanks to the experience of trained staff, the next critical step is determining the gender of each chick. Female chicks are kept for egg production. Male chicks, on the other hand, have no value in egg production and are typically either transferred to meat farms or culled immediately after sorting to optimize operational costs. An essential part of the quail rearing process is vaccination. After sorting, each chick receives a vaccine to boost its immune system right from the earliest days, a period when they are especially vulnerable. After vaccination, the chicks are carefully placed into ventilated plastic crates. These crates are then transported to quarantine areas or rearing facilities, where the quails begin their journey to adulthood in a strictly controlled environment. Next, the quail chicks are placed into brooding enclosures, where they are cared for in a way similar to baby chicks, but with much greater precision in 3 critical areas. First, quail chicks are extremely sensitive to cold, so they are raised in enclosed brooding pens with a thick layer of rice husk or bedding material on the floor to retain warmth and absorb moisture. In addition, red heat lamps are kept on continuously, not only to maintain a stable temperature, but also to create a soft, calming light that soothes the chicks, reduces stress, and helps prevent pecking behavior, which is common in high-density brooding. Using blue light, on the other hand, would overstimulate their activity and fail to provide sufficient heat during this critical stage. The final key factor is nutrition. Quail chicks are fed multiple times a day, usually 3 to 4 times, with finely ground, starch-rich, and easily digestible feed. Circular feeders are placed throughout the brooding area and are kept full at all times, allowing the chicks easy access to food no matter where they are in the enclosure. Under this meticulous care during brooding, the chicks quickly develop strength and resilience, preparing them for the next big leap in the journey ahead. After just 5 to 6 weeks, young quails grow rapidly and enter the pre-laying stage, preparing for the most critical and central phase of their entire production cycle, egg laying. If noisy characters like roosters often give us a headache, then quails are their polar opposites, shy, quiet, and silently creating value in the background. As they reach maturity, quails are moved into specially designed cages, which are far more compact than those used for larger poultry like pigeons. Stocking density is also adjusted, from around 100 birds per cage during the brooding stage down to 50 in adulthood. These cages are arranged in long rows stretching dozens of meters, stacked in multiple tiers, all to maximize space and streamline feeding, egg collection, and flock management. Inside each rear compartment, dozens of quails are kept in relatively tight quarters, with no room to fly or move freely as before, all focused on a single purpose: laying eggs regularly, consistently, and at maximum efficiency. Because quails are tasked with producing and laying eggs every day, their diet during this stage is especially important. They are fed a finely ground mixture consisting of crushed grains, wheat bran, minerals, trace elements, and a small amount of reproductive supplements to maintain reproductive health and ensure continuous, efficient egg production. This nutrient-rich feed mixture is poured into a high-capacity industrial mixer where it is continuously stirred until it becomes a smooth, homogeneous blend, perfect for distribution to the housing units. Once mixing is complete, the feed is discharged into large hoppers positioned at the head of each cage row. As soon as the motors are activated, a system of gears and screw conveyors springs into action, transferring the feed from the main hopper into distribution pipes. From there, the feed flows along metal troughs and is evenly delivered to each cage compartment, where hundreds of eager quails await. The feed continues to move steadily along conveyor belts that stretch the length of each cage row, ensuring that every group of birds has access to a consistent food supply. An adult egg-laying quail typically consumes between 20 to 25 grams of feed per day. This amount is carefully calculated to support regular egg production and maintain consistent quality. Alongside feeding, fresh water is continuously supplied through a network of pipes and automatic drinkers installed along each row of cages. Rapid growth, high egg production, low feed intake, and ease of care mean that growth hormones are unnecessary, making quails an ideal choice for the modern food industry, where producers can minimize costs while consumers pay just around 2 cents for a nutrient-rich quail egg. With all these advantages, is it any surprise that quails are becoming a staple in modern farming? After several weeks of careful care, the first quail eggs begin to appear, their shells speckled with dark brown spots, as if randomly hand-painted, giving them the unmistakable beauty unique to this species. The eggs gently roll into collection trays, thanks to the sloped floor design of the cages. These trays are securely fixed at the cage edges to prevent the eggs from falling out or cracking due to impact. From here, the eggs continue their journey on an automatic conveyor belt that runs the length of the entire facility. The conveyor moves at a slow, steady pace to minimize vibration and reduce the risk of damage during transport. Thanks to this fully automated system, thousands of eggs can be collected and handled each day without requiring direct human intervention. On average, each laying quail can steadily produce 1 to 2 eggs per day, totaling around 250 to 300 eggs per year. If you own a mega farm with a typical scale in China of 100,000 laying quails, the total annual output could reach 25 to 30 million eggs. But how are these tiny eggs collected without breaking a single shell? In the next stage of their journey, the eggs are transferred onto a long, fully automated conveyor system designed to minimize collisions. This conveyor is made up of rollers or soft plastic rods arranged in parallel with evenly spaced gaps, allowing the eggs to roll gently without shifting off track. With precisely calibrated tilt and vibration, the system keeps the eggs advancing smoothly without the need for human intervention. This system plays a vital role in the production chain, optimizing egg collection before the next steps of sorting and packaging begin. Throughout the egg-laying period, quails also produce a large amount of waste that quickly accumulates beneath the cage floors. To maintain hygiene and control odors, an automatic manure conveyor system is periodically activated, efficiently clearing out all waste from the housing area. Once collected, the manure is transported to a dedicated processing zone, where it is piled into large heaps for composting, an eco-friendly recycling solution that transforms waste into valuable organic fertilizer. Back to our tiny eggs. Once the automated collection process ends, the quail eggs are delivered to the processing area of the factory. Here, workers stand on both sides of the conveyor belt, ensuring the eggs are evenly distributed to prevent piling or collisions. At the same time, they perform a preliminary sorting based on size and shell color. Every movement must be quick yet extremely gentle to maintain productivity without cracking the delicate eggs. After the preliminary sorting, the eggs move through an automatic washing machine. Here, they gently roll over rotating rollers designed to keep them stable as they pass through a system of high-speed spinning brushes. These brushes are made from special soft fibers and work in combination with strong air jets to remove dirt, manure residue, or shell fragments clinging to the surface. Thanks to the smooth, continuous motion, each egg comes into contact with all the necessary cleaning points without cracking. During this process, the eggs are also neatly aligned in rows, making it easier for quality control and the following packaging stage. After being thoroughly cleaned, the eggs continue their journey to the manual sorting area. With swift and precise movements, they remove any eggs that are cracked, misshapen, or fail to meet the standards for color and size. This step is crucial to ensure that only the highest quality eggs move on to the next critical stage of processing. Finally, after passing through inspection and cleaning, the quail eggs are delivered to a modern automatic packaging machine. Neatly aligned rows of eggs move into positioning slots precisely designed to fit the standard egg size, ready for the final packing stage. In this last step, a gentle pushing mechanism slides each egg into metal trays positioned below. Each tray is pre-aligned on the conveyor and labeled with barcodes and traceability information. Once the correct number of eggs is placed, an automatic lid seals the tray to ensure safety during transportation. This system can handle thousands of eggs per hour, optimizing time and significantly reducing labor costs. After sealing, the trays are carried via conveyor to the final packing station, where they are carefully loaded into cardboard boxes or large plastic containers, ready for distribution to the market. In addition to packaging fresh eggs, some quail eggs are pre-cooked through an industrial boiling process. Boiled quail eggs are highly favored for street food and ready-to-eat snacks in many Asian countries. The eggs are cooked in specialized tanks at temperatures ranging from 95 to 100 degrees Celsius for about 8 to 10 minutes, ensuring they are fully cooked while preserving their freshness and distinctive flavor. After boiling, the eggs are transferred to an automatic shelling machine. They roll along rotating shafts while passing through a system of thin blades and water jets, which crack and peel the shells off completely without damaging the delicate egg whites. Once shelled, the eggs exit the machine almost perfectly intact, soft, whole, and ready for final inspection. After being thoroughly cleaned and passing quality inspection, the peeled quail eggs are transferred to the automatic packaging system. Here, the machine portions the eggs according to preset quantities and begins packing them into bags or jars. Workers carefully place each peeled egg into plastic or glass jars, then fill them with brine or a preservation solution to keep the eggs fresh. Finally, each jar is labeled with complete information, including product name, barcode, and production date, before being sent out for distribution. Continuing the journey, we arrive at the quail meat processing area in the factory. The plucked quails are placed into large water trays in preparation for the next cleaning step. Workers rinse the birds thoroughly with running water to remove blood, fine feathers, and any remaining debris on the skin. Next, the quails are hung onto hooks along an automated processing line. Here, staff inspect each bird for skin color, meat firmness, and surface temperature to ensure that every quail meets hygiene and food safety standards. The quail meat is then moved to the sorting area, where any unusable parts are removed. Depending on market demand, the meat is divided into whole birds, breasts, or wings. Each portion is packed into specialized vacuum-sealed bags to extend shelf life and maintain freshness. Finally, each package is labeled with the product name, barcode, and production date before being placed into cold storage, ready for distribution. Quail meat is often used to prepare roasted quail, a highly prized dish known for its rich flavor and tender, juicy texture. Tiny yet mighty, the quail proves that small scale doesn't mean small impact. In the world of modern food production, efficiency truly comes feathered. Modern crocodile farming today is truly a revolution, far beyond the crude methods that existed for centuries. This dramatic transformation has paved the way for crocodiles to be raised and processed industrially in over 30 countries, with major hubs like Thailand, Australia, South Africa, the United States, and China, home to high-tech farms and specialized processing facilities. These farms can span up to 100,000 square meters, housing tens of thousands of crocodiles at various life stages, and they continue to expand. But what's the real reason crocodile meat and skin are in such high demand? With a lifespan of up to 50 years and a rare, time-enhanced sheen, crocodile leather has become the crown jewel of luxury fashion, featured in pieces like the $500,000 Hermes Himalaya Birkin and Louis Vuitton crocodile locket. Even though farm-raised crocodiles have been born and bred in captivity for generations, their primal hunting instincts remain fully intact, which means raising them in massive numbers has never been an easy or entirely safe task. Despite being known as one of the most dangerous reptiles on the planet, a crocodile's life begins from something surprisingly humble. A small egg, not much different from that of a chicken. And it all starts with egg laying, a crucial and standardized step in every modern crocodile farming model. During the breeding season, which typically falls between April and August, depending on the region, mother crocodiles are moved to semi-wild or artificial ponds designed to mimic natural habitats and encourage nesting. Farmers prepare thick, soft, and dry layers of sand around the pond's edge to encourage females to dig nests and lay their eggs. At this stage, the mother crocodile will select a spot she deems safest and dig a nest, usually about 30 to 50 centimeters deep, in preparation for laying. Depending on the species, age, and level of care, each female can lay anywhere from 20 to 80 eggs per clutch. Because the mother crocodile becomes especially sensitive and defensive during this stage, farmers must collect the eggs swiftly and accurately, ensuring safety before she detects any intrusion and turns aggressive to protect her nest. Therefore, farmers typically try to separate the mother crocodile from the nesting area before beginning the egg collection process. Egg collection requires precision, speed, and more than a little courage, because just a few seconds too late, and the mother crocodile might return to the nest and react aggressively. Each egg must be gathered within 24 hours of being laid to prevent it from being eaten, and every single one is carefully marked to indicate its exact orientation. This is crucial, as rotating the egg during transport to the artificial incubation area could damage the embryo and ruin the hatch. After being successfully collected from the mother crocodile, the eggs are gently wiped with a dry cloth to remove sand and debris. They are then placed in trays lined with sawdust or on specialized racks, helping to retain moisture and keep the eggs stable, with precise spacing to prevent contact and ensure proper airflow during incubation. They are then placed into an automated incubation system within a climate-controlled environment where humidity is maintained at 90–95% and the temperature is kept between 30 degrees Celsius and 33 degrees Celsius, creating ideal conditions to maximize hatch rates and ensure healthy embryo development. One fascinating fact is that the gender of baby crocodiles is not determined by chromosomes as it is in many other animals, but entirely by the temperature during incubation. If the temperature exceeds 32 degrees Celsius, most of the hatchlings will be male. In contrast, temperatures below 30 degrees Celsius tend to produce mostly females. After approximately 75 to 90 days of incubation, the baby crocodiles begin to emit distinctive chirping sounds, signaling that the hatching process is officially underway. After hatching, baby crocodiles are transferred to separate nursery areas, typically cement ponds equipped with water circulation systems, temperature control, and overhead covers to maintain stable living conditions. In their early stages of life, the young crocs are fed small fish, chicken meat, or high-protein commercial feed to support bone and muscle development and strengthen their immune systems. They're usually fed once or twice a day, at fixed times, to help establish a consistent biological rhythm and minimize aggressive competition during feeding. Unlike your cow, which takes 18 to 24 months to reach harvest age for meat or milk, crocodiles grow at a rate of 2 to 3 years to reach commercial size. During the fattening stage, crocodiles are fed only 2 to 3 times per week compared to their earlier growth phase. However, the nutritional quality of each meal is significantly enhanced, with a high-protein diet specifically designed to optimize both meat texture and skin quality, the two most valuable outputs in crocodile farming. Even though they don't eat daily like other livestock, crocodiles can still suffer from obesity and digestive issues if their feed intake is not strictly limited to under 10% of their body weight. Thanks to this careful feeding management, the fattening process not only helps crocodiles reach their ideal weight, but also ensures they meet the strict standards of the premium meat and leather markets. After a long period of patience and meticulous care, the time finally comes for farmers to reap the fruits of their labor, when the fully grown crocodiles reach the ideal size for harvesting. At this stage, the crocodile is temporarily rendered unconscious for a few minutes using methods such as blunt force trauma to the skull, the pithing method, or remote stunning with electric prods or captive bolt guns. The goal is to make the animal lose consciousness before restraint and transport, reducing aggressive reactions, minimizing struggle, and preserving the quality of both meat and skin. However, as animal welfare becomes an increasingly important and regulated issue in the farming industry, electric stunning has become the more widely adopted method at many modern crocodile farms. Once the crocodile is fully immobilized, workers quickly tie its snout, secure its limbs, and then transfer it onto a specialized transport vehicle. Depending on their intended use, hundreds of crocodiles will be classified before entering the slaughter process, ready to transform themselves into a rich source of protein sought after across the globe, and premium-grade hides featured in legendary handbags bearing the names Hermes or Louis Vuitton. Immediately upon arrival at the processing facility, workers use a specialized sharp knife to sever the carotid artery, or the artery at the back of the neck, allowing the crocodile to quickly stop breathing and bleed out while still under the effects of electric stunning or sedatives. Immediately after bleeding and washing are completed, the crocodile carcass is transferred to the skinning area, a highly critical stage handled by skilled workers, as it involves the most economically valuable part of the animal. Unlike mink skinning, which is done from the hind legs to peel the entire hide along the back, crocodile farms typically use the belly cut method. This technique preserves the soft, wide, and evenly toned belly scales, the most desirable section for high-end fashion products. Using fine, ultra-sharp surgical knives, workers carefully cut along the belly and gently separate the skin from the muscle tissue, taking great care not to leave scratches or tears. A flawless crocodile hide can measure between 40 to 60 inches in length and fetch anywhere from $300 to over $10,000 a piece, depending on its size and quality. Before entering the leather processing phase, the remaining crocodile carcass is moved to the meat butchering section. At this stage, the animal is securely positioned on a stainless steel cutting table, and skilled workers carefully separate the major muscle groups, including the tail, back, flanks, and neck, one section at a time. The tail, in particular, is highly prized, making up nearly 50% of the total marketable meat. It's considered the finest cut, known for its white, lean, protein-rich texture, and is often featured in local delicacies or served at upscale restaurants. One of the most crucial steps that determines up to 80% of a crocodile hide's commercial value is the initial preservation phase, designed to maintain its quality and prepare it for advanced tanning processes. After being thoroughly cleaned with high-pressure cold water and meticulously scraped to remove any remaining debris, fat, or connective tissue, the hide undergoes either dry salting or deep freezing at 18 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees, especially when the tannery is not located near the farm. This preservation method effectively halts biological decomposition, protects the natural grain pattern, and preserves the hide's structural integrity before it enters the high-end tanning and finishing stages. Finally, before being sent to the tannery, the hides are manually graded based on criteria such as size, thickness, belly scale uniformity, and the presence of flaws. Next, the high-quality crocodile hides enter the intensive tanning process, a series of carefully controlled steps that can take anywhere from between 5 and 21 days, requiring advanced techniques and strict oversight. The hides are first soaked in chemical or bioenzyme solutions to relax the collagen fiber structure. Then comes the actual tanning stage, where agents like chrome or natural tannins are infused into the leather to prevent biological decay, enhance durability, and improve water resistance. After the tanning process is complete, the crocodile hides move on to the shaving stage. With the aid of precision shaving machines, workers meticulously adjust each hide to a uniform thickness, typically between 0.8 and 1.2 millimeters, ensuring consistency across the entire surface. Next, the most experienced workers, with sharp eyes and steady hands, manually inspect and sort the hides. Only those that meet the highest standards, with clearly defined belly scales, a soft texture, and no visible defects, are selected to proceed to the final stages of dyeing and surface finishing. Depending on the specific demands of fashion brands, the crocodile leather may be dyed in a uniform color or treated with special effects such as ombre gradients, metallic finishes, marbled tones, or vintage-style patinas. This dyeing process is typically done either by hand or through semi-automated techniques, ensuring that each hide retains its natural grain texture while achieving flawless, vibrant coloration. After a long journey of patience and precision, the crocodile hide finally reaches the final stage, polishing and surface finishing, where its natural beauty is awakened and elevated into a pinnacle of luxury craftsmanship. The leather is passed through specialized equipment for pressing, buffing, waxing, or protective coating, depending on its intended use. Some workshops still apply traditional techniques, such as hand oiling or polishing with smooth stones, to achieve a finish that's both gently glossy and naturally supple. At last, each hide undergoes a final inspection, is sorted, and carefully packaged before being shipped to world-renowned fashion houses like Hermes, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, or Prada, where it will be transformed into iconic fashion masterpieces, each worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.